Alright guys, today we are reviewing Neca's Ultimate GYPSY Danger. Let's get right into this bad boy. Okay, now I've raised my camera up here just to show you a few differences from this and the previous GYPSY, even though I don't have the other GYPSYs. This is the only GYPSY I want because I want one of each character, and I mean one. As you can see, he has gold in his visor rather than a different paint. His paint overalls look cleaner. He has a black piece here instead of 3 vents. As you can see, he's got 3 on this side and a black piece. I'll show you what that's later. Hands are a slightly different colour. Not that it bothers me. I got 2 of the same gripping hands, so I had to cut the thumb off and put it on the other way round. Not a problem. Again, it's an easy fix. And you get these caution strips on the leg. You can probably see them right here. They look good. Very nice. You got new hip joints here. Overall, the articulation is vastly improved. And his shoulders are ball jointed as well, which is cool. And in the back, what a great detail. Unfortunately, his spine does cut off, you know. But overall, what can you expect? And this is a little bit of a snag. This bit and this bit are a little bit discoloured. Don't know if it was like that in the movie. I mean, it doesn't bother me that much, but I can see it bugging some people. And yeah, that, you know, but still overall, and his head's showing up slightly different colour on camera, but I promise it's not in person. At least on my copy, it's the same colour as the rest of the figure. So let's get on to the accessories and the swappable parts. Okay, so dear God, we got a lot of shit here. As you saw, we have 2 forearms and 2 gripping hands. We also get 2 closed fists. You get 2 of each plasma cannon, and he's packaged with both of these, so he's packaged dual wielding these bad boys. He has 2 swords, which, for those of you who don't know, that little, just give me a second, I'm holding the camera one-handed. That little notch right there is where they fit into. I'll show that how that goes in a minute. And then we have the flame effect, which we have seen two other times before in the reactor blast and GYPSY Danger and the Antiverse GYPSY Danger, so that's pretty cool. And as you can see, mine has kind of like a yellowish fade to it, which is kind of cool. So that's all accessories. Now let's get on to how to install these bad boys onto the figure. But first, there's something I need to address. Okay, this is Rumor Control. Now you're probably wondering why GYPSY's arms are off. Now, I've seen a few posts of this guy on Facebook, and elbow joints. Yeah, very bad elbow joints. A few people had them. Now, mine suffered a bit. Mine had a crack right down the middle. I'll see if I can get it to focus. It's not 1 and 2. Maybe if it'll focus up there. There we go. You can sort of see this white smudge. I had to put some glue on there because it had a crack in it. And I didn't want to risk have that happen to that. What happened to the other elbow, which is a complete breakage. But to be fair, it was my fault because I tried to pull the cannon off one-handed. As you can see, there is a crack. Literally, it's split right down here. And it also split down there as well. I had to literally heat it up, pull the pin out, pull the whole shoulder out, and just fix it up. I used a lot of super glue, smeared some all across the seam so that it's now nice and strong. And I actually had to put glue inside the hole on this and ram the peg through. So this is technically glued onto the peg, but it still rotates. Because if you look on the seam of the peg, like you can see that line there, it kind of moves because this is glued onto it. And then I had to bend these outward using a hairdryer, well, to heat it up first, and then just close them shut on it. So this one is a little bit malformed. Another thing as well, he has a little feature in his chest, and sometimes when activating it, when rotating the waist, it causes it to flicker and slightly dull a bit, which I don't know why. I don't know why that is. It's kind of a thing. I don't know. At least on mine, I've not seen it on any others. Also, the head joint. That head joint. This isn't exactly Neca's fault, because this can vary from figure to figure, but mine is horrifically tight. Like, I'm struggling to move that. That is so tight, it's horrifying. Let's get on to attaching his parts, and we'll see what we have. Right, so we've already seen him with the you know, the grippy hands. So let's try him with the plasma cannons. He does come packaged with these. You just have to wiggle it on there. I do agree. I do think, though, that overall from the problems from this figure, he really looks good. Now, some people have also had greasy figures. Still. Here he is with both his plasma cannons. This is how it comes packaged. As I was saying, some people have had theirs where they touch theirs, it's very greasy. Me, that didn't have a problem, but after handling him, my fingers became very black. I don't know what that was all about. To reattach these, now I'm much more gentle with it, because, you know, and I did carve out a bit in there just to make it a little bit looser for this, so that the elbows don't break, because that's kind of what happened, and I was bending it side to side, and it kind of destroyed the actual peg, more or less. Again, that happened on the other elbow, not this one. I was a bit rough with it, unfortunately. I'm a bit heavy-handed. So, some of it is quality control, some of it is my fault. We'll put the fisted hands in. Show how he looks with those. He does look good, I will admit. This is one of my favourite figures so far. Probably my favourite Ultimate, actually, just because of all the stuff he comes with. Now, there is a little gap. Hold on, this camera's not focusing. Right there in his wrist. The sword will peg right in there. And there is a little... Here's the sword. There's a little notch. Hold on, let me just zoom out. Hold on, give me a sec. It's not bloody focusing. But either way, there's a little notch. And this sword looks great too. This is a great looking sword. There we go, as you can see. Very nice. And... Pro noticed it has this little notch right here. That will fit directly into here. Now, look for this pattern here and put it on the inside. And what's cool is GYPSY has never had two of each before. So you can get him dual-wielding swords, which I think is freaking amazing. Again, you want this pattern facing the outer arm. Slightly bend the fist in. Now, this one is a little bit more difficult to get in. Just the look of the jaw, I guess. But here he is, with both his swords, looking badass. Now, if we remove those, and just get his arms out like this for his final accessory before we get onto the secret gimmick, which, I mean, it's no secret now. Most people know what it is, but I personally like it. You get this big boy. Now, where's the notch? Notch is right there. And this thing is sculpted beautifully. That will go, pardon me, into the bottom. So the notch needs to hit the bottom. And here you go. That just looks cool, man. I don't know if I'm going to display him like this necessarily, but it is neat. And now, for the thing you've all been waiting for. The electronic feature. Yes, for those who didn't know, this is one of the only few 7-inch figures out there to have an electronic feature. Remember this black piece here? Now, it's really bright on camera, but in reality, it's more orange. Now, this will work with this effect, which is very good. However, it's not... I don't think I plugged that in right. No, I'm not. It's not like very... And as you can see, it's flickering and all that. Yeah, it is flickering a bit, but either way, it's very dull with it on. But it's still, it doesn't really work so well with this, which is a bit of a shame, actually. Could put a more powerful LED in there, but I'm not ripping this guy to pieces. Here's a problem that mine has. Like, sometimes I'd rotate it and it'll flick. See that? I don't know why it does that. But that's just me actually over-forcing the joint, so I don't want to do it too much. So I'll just turn it off. It does click into place. So, you know, you can leave it on. See? That's the activation button. That's very cleverly hidden, actually. Would be cool for like a piece of armor. But overall, it's really good. And this guy looks absolutely amazing. Again, he uses a new 2.0 body, but with some updated bits. The head looks really good. Back. The boosters. His ass. Which does have a few scratch marks there, which is kind of weird. The back of his legs. His knees. Well, his knee pits. His feet. Oh, need to turn that off. New paint apps, again, include the these bits. But I forgot to mention as well, he also has, if I just twist his elbow here, he also has these brass parts on the outer joint here. He doesn't have them on the inside, which is kind of weird, to be honest. But he has them on the inside, on the outside, which is kind of cool. And I think these little brass accents here and here are new. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so for articulation, he is very good. And he has got some upgraded parts to him, which make him even better. The head joint is the only problem. It is so tight, I'm going to have to heat that up and carve it and sand it away. Shoulders are on ball joints, so now they're not pin in sockets like the legs, or they're not pin in socket joints, and I'll show you why. So they go out to the side, and they're shug up and down because they're a double ball peg. You got all the rotation, but here's what's new. If I turn it this way, you get like a slight butterfly motion. So you have like a pseudo butterfly joint in there, which is kind of cool. See, if I show you. See how that rocks like that? So you get like a bit of a butterfly joint in there. That's pretty cool, I think. His shoulder pad is on its own ball joint. So if you really wanted to, not that I would know why you would, you could have it that way. I don't know why anyone would do that, but it makes no sense. But it's still there, so you can get it like that and have his arm go really high up. And that's about as high as they will go. He has a bicep swivel. On whichever cannon arm whichever forearm you have, it will bend and this piece will slide, but it does pop off, so I recommend gluing that on. It will hinge up and it will rotate because it's on the ball joint and it can wiggle a bit. And whichever set of hands you have, they're on a ball joint, but because it's so deeply recessed in there, you mainly just get in rotation. You do get a bit of wiggle. These hands, however, to just show you, are a little bit looser. So, you get a bit more range of motion with those. Your waist, and I missed his hand. Grabby hand. No, I'll put fist on. His torso has a diaphragm joint, rolls all the way around. So it can go side to side really far. Doesn't crunch so much back, but it does go back quite nicely. And it also rotates. Legs, this is also what's upgraded. They go forward and they go so far up that is completely ridiculous. I mean, he's not going to stand, mind you, but unless you glued him on something. But look at that. He's gymnastics. His legs can also go stupidly far back. Did I mention that this guy's a gymnast? He is a gymnast with this. And they have a ratcheted in and out motion, which has loosened up over time. So you can get him doing a very wide stance. That's pretty cool. As you can see, there's a pin in there as well, which is kind of new. But if you get it like this, you can get it going pretty high. Like that. It's much easier with a ratchet. It's a bit difficult, like Strike Eureka's is. Upper thigh swivel, which actually shows machine detailing in there, which is cool. Then you get the double jointed knee, which even if you don't use this upper joint, the second joint kind of bends really far anyway. So he gets a double jointed knee. That's really good. And his foot is on a shallow ball peg, so I'll pop it off. It's on a double ball peg, like a barbell. There we go. So you get more ankle pivot, and I just popped it off again. Whoops. You get a bit more ankle pivot, which is nice. There you go. Quite a bit of ankle pivot. You just got to learn how to move it around and you'll get it working. Nice amount forward. Nice. Not so much back, but what you get is a toe hinge. So, and this is where Neca, if you're watching this, I think you should try putting that in your Predator figures. Or maybe your aliens. They've got it in a few aliens. But if GYPSY can crouch... Oh, he's going to fall over. But if I just show that, see that? Look at that. That's what I consider uber posability in the legs. That is fantastic posability right there. This guy is incredibly posable and I love him. Despite the breakage on the elbows, of course. Well, elbow. But that was my fault because I did it all one-handed. And I was an idiot. And I knocked him over. So, you know. So really, Neca, if you could put your toe hinges in your new Predator figures, that would be cool. Scarface obviously wouldn't be able to have it, but any upcoming ones could have it. Now, all that aside, all the problems with the joints and the greasiness and the black sludge, whatever that was, this guy is getting, for me, a solid 10 out of 10. Despite the problems he had, and he's getting a high recommend and a solid 10 out of 10. Despite the QC issues, his paint is really good, albeit from that weird black stuff that was coming off of him. His articulation is fantastic. Just a little careful with the elbows. You know, I'd recommend heating these up massively with a hairdryer, because that's what I did. I heated all these up before taking them off, because I knew about the elbow problem. And yeah, his articulation is good, but just watch the head. Heat that head up like mad, because that head is very tight. And this was a little tight as well. And the one thing which works almost flawlessly is this, albeit it sometimes flickers. I think my battery's going a bit dead. But that is a lot brighter on camera than it is in real life. It's still bright in real life, but not as bright. In fact, let me just show him to... Let me just show you what he looks like with the other Jaegers. So here he is with Striker Eureka. This is also the other Ultimate figure, which is fantastic. And here he is with Tacit Ronin. He obviously dwarfs Tacit Ronin, and Striker Eureka is a smidge taller than him. At least he looks it because of those big fins. Let's see what he looks like with the other Ultimates in hand. Yes, here he is. Again, Striker Eureka is an Ultimate, but you probably knew that. Of course, GYPSY is an Ultimate. Leatherface and Jason and Freddy are all Ultimates, and this is the Ultimate family. These guys are surprisingly near the same height. Like, if I have this camera at head height, you can't really see the head of GYPSY that much. Unless, of course, you move the camera up. But, I mean, this is... Obviously, this isn't supposed to be in scale. In fact, just give me a sec to grab Godzilla. The Gojira figure. This is kind of a scale which I wish would work. I don't know. I mean, we've never seen these together, so this might be accurate, but the chances are pretty small, because we don't know how big this motherfucker is. But these two are big as well, like ridiculously big. But still, all that aside, this guy is a really good figure. I'm very happy with him. Again, I do have a few small problems, but most of them are easily remedied, except for the black gunk thing. I don't know what that's all about, or the greasiness. But the elbow thing, if you do get them, just heat them up, pop them off, put a bit of layer of glue around the hinge bit, wait for it to dry, because it'll add as a thicker layer of protection, and then heat it up and put it all back together. And just be careful with him, because he has had a few... There is a 50-50 chance yours will come with funny elbow joints. So just be careful. Still, I do give this guy a solid recommend. I hope you enjoyed my video. I know I've been a bit nutty about this guy. I did like him. And if you saw my whole video, you'll see that the next figure is that I'll be reviewing. So, thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.